Yep.
It gets to the glass and you're like, come on. That's why I always bottle it and put it in the fridge.
Gotcha. That's good.
But yeah, man, look, I think we're ready to kick it off. Are you ready to kick this off?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. And welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have in the studio with me Undi Lee, a film director, writer, even done a little bit of acting here and there.
Have I? Well, yeah, a little bit, tiny bit.
Well, welcome to the show, man. It's really good to have you
Thank you
here.
for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, I think another big point, winner of Made in the West, 2016, 17?
17, yep.
Yeah, 2017. Amazing film, man. Amazing.
Thank you.
The amount of work, dude.
Yeah. It's kind of like an old film for me, but it's done so much for me, strangely. And at your festival as well, it's been a gift for me. So all that work was well worth it. For a good 10 minutes of screen entertainment.
Yeah, was it 10 minutes? Was it just under?
Just under. Tiny
fraction.
9:54 something.
Man, well, that's a good duration for a film in any short film festival, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try and keep it under 10. If you got something epic, do a 15. I think you did a 15-minute film once.
Oh yeah, the black
Was it
and white.
Eric?
Eric, yeah, that was 15. Yeah, it's challenging for audiences, but it's that type of film, anyways. Yeah, the length. I think if you're connected to the story, I think it's okay. It doesn't really matter what length it is, but yeah, it's to and fro.
Yeah,
yeah.
There is a bit of a balance there, but I do sometimes. I know sometimes we do look at things logistically, rather than artistically.
Yeah. Programming, yes.
Yeah, well, that's it. You got to get, you got to compress some of your story sometimes. Compress your shots.
Yeah.
There's been some shoots that I've been on that I go, I can get 3 shots out of this camera move. I can get a 2 stills and a pan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're doing like stories on Snapchat and TikTok, and they're like less than 30-second little story episodes. So, you can do whatever now, like with the length.
Yeah, well, it's a bit scary. Well, not to digress too much, but TikTok isn't around anymore. They're getting rid of it. The world's gone upside down, man. Like really upside down. Like. We thought it was upside down 5 years ago, but that wasn't upside down. Now it's upside
2020, let's turn it up.
Yeah. Let's see how fucking crazy we can get this, Oh, man. If you just want to feel depressed for a day, watch the news for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And catch up on current events.
Yeah, you just turn the news on. Yep. That's right.
Now, I'm feeling too good at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch some news.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, actually, speaking of Eric, though, just to go back to film for a second, I remember watching that because that was also beautifulully produced.
Thank you.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Because I was at a changing point in Made in the West as well. Because that was around 2014, I think. 2014 when you had that in. And I got a confession to tell you.
Yeah.
When I do the festival, I get all of the films onto a hard drive, and then that was back then. It's different now because we do DCP. But back then I had a hard drive, and then I'll do a backup onto a spare hard drive.
Yep.
And I'd have it in different formats. So I'd have an NTFS. I would have a Mac Journal. Every possibility, right?
Yeah.
And I collect the films after they're being judged, and then we create and critique a running order. And I forgot to put Eric in the playlist. Now
it's too long. It's 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. No, but well, think about it from my perspective. I scheduled 15 minutes in the festival that would now be missing.
Yeah, right.
Okay, right. So I had a really busy week, and I ended up having a USB with your film on it. But it wasn't in the same codec as all of the other ones because I aligned the same codec. So, you don't have... Same
format.
Yeah, same format, make it all uniform. So I had your film in its original codec in a USB at the bottom of the bag for the redundant computer because I'll take a computer and take a spare computer in case it fails, right?
Yeah.
I had the only copy of the film at Made in the West was on a USB at the bottom of a bag. And I only realised when we loaded the list, and I had... we were running so late. I had 10 minutes before the festival was starting and the list is loaded. Right? And I'm like, shit, man, I don't have this dude's film.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know. I had no idea. Well, I had no idea that you had any of those dramas.
Yeah.
I mean, that night I got. I have a confession because I got so drunk that night. And I think I was the only drunk person there.
I don't think so, Undi. I think I might have been right there with you.
Because I hadn't met the community yet, and I was like, oh my god. The next day I was like, they must think I'm an alcoholic, and I'm not that kind of person. But I just got drunk so on that night.
Man, you did a great interview too. I've got a photograph of you standing on a skateboard on a red carpet at Made in the West.
Probably with a drink in my hand as well.
Totally, yeah. You had a schooner for sure. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a great festival.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
It was fun.
But yeah, no, I've had all kinds of nightmares going at Made in the West that no one would know about. I really have. I've gone to redundant systems because computers fail, that lists fail, software fails.
Oh, no. Well, we appreciate the seamless, the smooth running of it. We don't see it.
You don't see. Yeah, you guys don't see what happens behind the scenes. I think the craziest one I had, actually, there's two really crazy ones where things have gone awry. And the year after that year, so it would have been 2015. When we were at the Paddington RSL, they would have their plugs to plug into their projector, and they'd have this long cable that runs to their projector because it's in the middle of the room, and the projection room was good 30 meters back.
Yeah,
and they have different connectors, so and it was all VGA.
Yeah, right.
It was SD VGA, right? Yeah. No, this is no VMAX sort of stuff. This was SD VGA. And you know how you have the VGA cables that connect together, right? So you have a female and a male, and then that goes into the computer. If you twisted the cable, it would go green and then black. And you had to twist the cable really tight, and then it would work. Yeah. So I either had to have someone there holding the cable, but our solution, you're going to love this. I've got a great snap of it. We drilled the cable to the wall.
At the RSL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the booth, we drilled the cable with the twist in it to the wall.
Wow.
So in Made in the West, right, you got the sound desk computer. And then right next to it on the wall, this twisted Frankenstein of a cable with gaffer tape wrapped around it, with holes drilled into it. And I just told them, I said, look, because if I don't connect this, I don't have a show. Yeah. Like I didn't have any redundancy for that.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they said, well, we're replacing it next week anyway. I've gone, why didn't you replace it the week before? They're going, it's going to be full HD. It's going to be great. I'm like, you tell me now. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you're in live theatre. It's live. It's like a live broadcast event, so the pressure totally makes sense. But I think it's a very endearing story because now you're you're back in the cinemas, and you've built such a big community. So it's nice to know where you came from almost. Yeah, that's it. Oh man, well, we got way more humble beginnings than that. We started at the Roxy Hotel with a laptop with a projector in front of it. Yep. So the audience would see the inner workings of you running the show. Yep. And then after a while you go, well, I need to get that to the rear of house, and you don't want to show the audience the workings, you just want to show them the show. Yeah. And the bonanza of it all, the red carpet, the photographers. You want to have that experience, right? Definitely. And going to an event, like we've gone from being on a, probably a projector that you couldn't buy anymore, right? Like one of the first generation RGB projectors, one of those big units. Yes. We got it for nothing, right? Yeah. It was free. Nice. We went from that to an SD projector, which would have been about, $1,000 projector, maybe $900. Yeah. And now we're on like a $4 million nice system. And well, man, I had to run redundancy one year at because we had a DCP issue first year at the VMAX, and my redundancy was to have a HDMI cable into the back of the projector. Yep. And I had to run it that way. So I had a shitty little Mac Mini. Plugged in the back of a $4 million projector.
Yeah. Oh no, but I mean,
No, it didn't skip a beat though. No one knew.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you're still here today, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, but what I was really glad for to see Melon Grab on that big screen though. Like it just did it so much justice.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And all the films that night, obviously. But
Yeah. No, it always looks good when it's in the cinema. Yeah. Always run a good event, so kudos.
yeah. Oh, well, speaking of events though, you've pulled out some other awards for Melon Grab, or
It's been like it's strange because I mean I'm technically not the producer. Even though I did produce on that film, it's not owned by me, so it's done kind of random things. Like it's just like gone on distribution in Europe, and it just travels. It goes into these special programs, and it just kind of lives on its own. And so I'm gonna be like actively pushing it out, distributing it, and yeah, and it's like almost 4 years old now, and it's still giving me life from, like, it's still giving me stuff out from it.
well, it's great how content can do that, right?
Yeah.
I've learned that in the power of some content, because I've got some stuff on my channel that just keeps getting hits, and it's timed as well. Like, when you make a film, it's timeless. And some of the stuff I've got on there's timed. Like it only works for 2018.
Yeah.
But people still watch it.
Yeah, that's a very good way. Film is timeless, and it's like, what was that quote? Like, the pain is only temporary, but the art is forever. Like when you're like in the heat of the craziness of filmmaking, it's like just the pain is only for a little short while. The art's gonna continue forever.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I always have this strange feeling like I get excited before I go on a shoot. I was a bit disappointed, obviously, COVID this year. Had 2 planned shoots. They were totally canned.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to getting back in the saddle again because I get distracted from Made in the West and the promotions that I do. Sometimes you don't have time for your own personal work.
Of course.
And I made, I made it sure to make time.
Definitely.
And that was 2020.
Oh,
I made
the worst year ever.
The worst year. Well, the irony is I asked the universe for time and it provided me with a shitload of time.
Yeah.
So I got a shitload done. I got a whole bunch of promotion this year.
Yeah.
But none of my own personal work. But when I'm on set, when you're directing performance, you get to a point, you're like, this is awesome. And then you get so drained because you're at the end of your shoot, the very last days. Like, I just need this to be over.
Yeah.
It's just too much. There's too much going on. I need it over. And then the second you wrap and you're having a beer with all of your colleagues, you're like, you have to make another one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's like having a baby. You kind of like forget everything, and you're like, okay, let's go again.
I better get back to writing. I better get another story out. Have you been writing a lot during COVID, or?
Oh, that's all I've been doing. Yeah. It's kind of dangerous because I probably write like 10 hours a day. I break it up, but I'm in my head all day, every day, which is good and bad because you're not seeing people at the same time. So it's a weird psychological kind of journey. So yeah, thank you for bringing me out of home.
That's all right. Well, man, I've been dying to get you on the show for ages because it's just like, I'm happy to say that there's just so many people to promote in Western Sydney, and so many people to talk to. I sort of because we interviewed you for Made in the West TV, and I thought, oh no, we've given him an interview and given him a bit of time, and then a bit of time passed, and I wanted to get you on the show at the start of the year. Yeah,
that's all good. No, I was like, I've been enjoying the interviews that you've been running. Yeah, that's all good. Like I know you're like what you guys do is so amazing. You've built such a great community. All the people that you like connected to are like really good friends of mine. So it's like. It's just nice to see the unity in our community, and I'm just saying I really appreciate what you do.
Well, we broke new ground last night, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we in collaboration with Western Sydney Filmmakers Hangout, which is a sort of satellite organisation to Made in the West. So. All the people that go to Made in the West, they go, pre-COVID, would go to a pub.
Yeah. Matt runs it, right?
Yeah. Big shout out, Matty. Matthew
nice
C. Vella. So yeah, they would meet. So we contacted Matt and we've gone, what can we do online?
Mm-hmm.
And we come up with a format to do an online networking event.
Mm-hmm.
We launched it last night. We thought, maybe 10 people will show up.
Yeah.
And then we go, but if we get 20, that's great.
Yeah. No, I saw you had heaps of photos. I saw you heaps of little squares.
Yeah, we had 60 responses.
Wow.
And we filled, I think we got up to 45. 45 on the call.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were curious. Online today, they go, but wouldn't you have 45 people talking? And but that's not how we ran it. We created a structure.
Mm-hmm.
So we send people we have spotlights.
Yeah.
So I interviewed 6 filmmakers.
Yeah, cool.
And talked about their experiences during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to Luke Walker, Bina Water Charger.
Nice.
Jess Pabian, Emma Elias.
Yeah.
Maddie C. Vella again.
Yeah.
I hope I haven't missed anyone out there, actually. But we interviewed those and spotlighted them and targeted questions that would be relevant to new filmmakers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of people we met last night that we haven't met before.
Nice.
Because I think, I enjoy a beer.
So do I, but I've had to cut back.
The COVID cutback.
Yeah.
But not everyone drinks beer though. I really enjoyed last night because it invited different personality types. Because you got your extroverted, introverted drinkers, right?
Yeah.
That go to pubs.
Yeah.
But there's some people that they don't like going to the pub.
That's so true. Yeah.
And we're missing out on those people and their work, or missing out and encouraging them to be, to work.
Yeah.
So that was something that was so profound for me yesterday, meeting a different spectrum of different people.
Totally. I mean, it is like it is work to go to these network events. Like, you've hit it on the head. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because there's different people that go to those events.
Yeah.
Or when people go to conventions, or it's a different mindset. So COVID's actually provided this platform that's forced our hand. That's given us this this system that's on steroids that is totally built for communication.
Yeah.
And all it requires is a little bit of structure. So we break people into breakout rooms. So we go, all right, we've got 40 people here. We're going to do a breakout room after this interview. You've got 2 minutes to do an elevator pitch to one person about your movie.
Nice.
So we send them into different breakout rooms.
Like randomly?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
randomly assign
Cool.
them. And then they come back and we go, right, next one's going to be 3 minutes. We're going to randomly assign 3 people to a chat. And you talk about your experiences in Western Sydney.
Cool.
And so we had 4 breakout rooms, 4 polls. So we did a poll asking, it was a choose your own adventure networking event.
Nice.
And it was really entertaining, man. I'm so surprised how entertaining it was. Because you write this, you don't know. You write a structure, and you go, people are going to think we're dorks.
No way. Like, as in, like when they come in and they do the pitch sessions, or
oh no, when they come in, they go, "This is pretty dorky,"
Oh, I see.
But that wasn't the feeling at all. It was I was elated. It was great. And everyone there made connections, and it was kind of like the same buzz that I got when I did. The first couple of Made in the West, you go, man, people are going to start collaborating. This thing's going to grow. You can feel the growth in it immediately. And that's what I got out of last night. It's like, man, we're going to run that again.
That's cool. I never even thought of that. That's so insightful. Imagine how many people that we have missed just from that, like just people who don't want to come out.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's really amazing.
But the good thing about that though is like, because we had people, we marketed it so, have a beer. Have a tea. Be a teetotaler. Have water. Doesn't matter. Don't drink at all.
Yeah.
Just come and mingle. Right?
Yeah.
And it totally worked. And I'm just So I thought we would get a lot of student people, but we've got maybe 30 indie filmmakers that I haven't met before.
Yeah.
Which is unusual for me. I meet everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited about that, man.
Good work.
Yeah, so a lot. Yeah, watch this space, guys. We haven't even given it a name yet. It's got a really dorky name. It's called the Western Sydney Filmmakers Online Event.
straightforward.
It's so clinical. Well, guys, if you're out there, if you've got any suggestions for the name for this networking event, let us know, and we'll think about it.
Nice.
Nettie McNeckface or something. I don't know, something like that. But man, like, just to go back to Melongrove for a second, because there's a lot of skating in that, right?
Yeah.
I think we established it when you came into the studio. You're like, you skate, man. Yeah, like, I skate, man. Have you been skating all your life, or?
Oh, I did it when I was really young, and then I picked it up again when I started when I had the accident because I couldn't go in the water. So I picked it up again in my late 20s. But I think I broke my wrist again, like maybe 3 times, just because I hadn't skated for so long.
Yeah.
And then I had to audition all the kids, like, when I had my cast on, and they were like, what happened? I was like, well, but...
Skateboarding accident.
I was like, oh crap, I gotta go in with the cast on. But I guess it was like my battle wound. But yeah, I still skate. I guess, like, just as natural skateboarders, I was just looking at a skateboard. You're always outsiders. You're always naturally an outsider. But even when I was young, I was still an outsider within my neighborhood. So yeah, but then you always find other outsiders within the outsiders, and that's why I really like the skateboard culture mostly. Like, everyone kind of takes you as you are. And I think that's what I like the most about the skateboard community, is that no matter how dorky or like quirky or weird you are, you've always got a place somewhere. As long as you're authentic to who you are, they'll take you.
Yeah, and there's always hangs as well. There's always places to hang out as a skateboarder. You go to skate park or somewhere where there's obstacles to skate.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you a skate park guy or street skater?
I'm skate park. Yeah, I'm too old. I'm like, those just bones are hurting me. I like the bowl. I like transition. I like smooth running. Like,
Yeah, I like carving it up.
Yeah, I imagine.
When you've got I don't skate anymore. I've stopped skating.
Yeah.
Because it's just too many injuries.
Yeah.
A couple of broken bones. I shattered my elbow once.
Yeah.
I over a box. The board stayed on the box and I kept going.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, if you haven't broken a bone, unless I guess I feel like you're not skating.
yeah. You definitely will break a bone.
Yeah.
Definitely. You might not anticipate it. It'll catch you by surprise when it happens.
But it's part of it. Like, you like the pain of it and getting through it, and I don't know.
But landing air though is so awesome. Landing like some decent air, it's a good feeling. Yeah. I think the most I've ever landed is about that high.
Yeah, got you.
About a meter and a bit.
Yeah. Did you skate all your life as well? Like when you were young?
Yeah, man. Skated since I was before I was a teenager.
Yeah, got you.
I had a Santa Cruz Jason Jesse, man. That's how old I am. Yeah.
You're OG. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I skated before there were skate parks. We used to have Mexican hats.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what you'd get, is a Mexican hat. It's closest you get to a skate park.
Yeah, okay, got you.
No coping, just roll in.
Just roll in, yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Usually with a runner, they'll put a path leading up to it so you can get some speed going in, and then you're
in the bowl, yeah.
You're in the bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love carving the bowl, man. It's such a good feeling. Very, very close to surfing. I reckon it's closer to surfing than like snowboarding or anything like that.
Yeah, this is the feeling. I mean, it hurts a lot more, but yeah.
Yeah, I've hurt myself body, because I don't surf, but I bodyboard.
Yeah.
I'm a lid, as they call it.
A lid?
Yeah, they call us lids, esky lids. Well, surfers always get pissed off at lids, man.
There's a whole hierarchy. It's the same in the skateboard.
Yeah. Razor scooters and skateboards now is the thing. It used to be bikes and skateboards.
Yeah. Oh, but they do crazy stuff on those scooters anyway, so...
Yeah. I've got a terrible scooter story, though.
Tell me.
Right, well, okay, I was skating in Perth, actually, on that, it was that board.
Yeah.
Which is a really fast board. It's got ceramic bearings in it.
Yeah.
So they don't heat and expand. They're just constantly fast. In fact, the more you ride, the faster you ride it, the faster it gets.
Yeah.
Right. It's a maniac board. And I was in Perth, and I went over. That's what I crashed on the box, right? So I went up the box. the board got stuck. That's why it's so clean. It's a clean board, right? That's my last deck. It's the last deck I ever owned. So I went over the box, went airborne, fell from about 8 to 10 foot.
Yeah.
There was a massive amount of air.
Good.
Landed right. You can see it there. Yeah. Landed right there.
Wait, this was on your board. That's this one here.
Yeah. That board stayed behind and I went flying 10 feet into the air.
Oh, shit.
Oh, it was fucking scary. And it echoed, man. When it broke, it echoed.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad it was. Just echoed through the park, and everyone in the park's going, ooh, right? And I refused to accept that it was broken. I drove a manual car home.
Oh, no. Shit.
Yeah, I was just so stubborn. Anyway, just don't like injuries owning me. And so it's been like I moved to New Zealand, New South Wales, and I hadn't picked up a board in a year.
Yeah.
And there's a Penrith skate park down there.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I thought, time to get back on the board, Ross. Arms healed, you've moved, back at you're at uni now. I dropped. So the only way to get over an injury on a skateboard, I believe, is to find the biggest fucking ramp you can get.
Yeah.
Drop your board, do a roll and start,
go in,
and pump it. Just pump in.
Yeah, that's it.
So I go to the biggest transfer, do a rolling drop in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm going up to the next ramp. And this little it was so stereotypical, man. This little kid on a razor scooter is just moseying through. And he was crossing my path. Even had his helmet on. It's falling because his head was too small for the helmet.
Yeah,
it's on sideways. So it would have been 7-8-year-old kid. And then he sees a big angry man with a big beard and a lot of hair.
Yeah,
going fucking move. So he moved, but he left the razor scooter behind.
Yeah, I've almost hit a little kid on a scooter. I was on like a 4-foot half pipe, and I was coming back down, and he just chose to come out, and I would have either had to crash into him and like really have severe injury for him, or I bail. And I bailed, and I still have a screwed up shoulder up here.
Hit a wall?
No, I just landed really bad, so I was coming back down. And the ramp, and I just like scooted my board out so it wouldn't hit him. And I went
full
down.
bail. Yeah.
I still have the scar as well, so I do know the pain of a kid on a scooter in front of you. So yeah.
I think one of the coolest ones though, I met a BMXer airborne. Like we were both airborne over a box. Because I was backside. Because I was coming in backside. I didn't see him.
Okay, yeah.
So I came in backside and I've gone over the box.
But so you collided in the air.
We both collided midair.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that was horrible. Yeah. I had this massive... he almost impaled me on the bars, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
Oh, no.
That was in Townsville. That was a really cool skate park. I hope it's still there, actually. I've got fond memories. Yeah. But the other one, it's similar to one of the coolest waves I've ever been on. It was a tube, and I'd gone into the tube, and another bodyboarder is in the tube at the other end.
Yeah.
And we passed each other in the tube, and we had this split second where you got to go pick high or low.
Yeah.
I went low, he went high.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah, and then at the other end, as we peeled out of the wave, we both look over to see if we survived. And we've got going, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's strangely intimate when you're out in the water and you're on the same wave. Like, you can look right in their eye and you're like, oh, my board just went over you. Or like, it's very intimate, even though it's like the ocean. You're out in the ocean together.
Yeah, there's definitely a connection with people catching waves.
Yeah.
We call it a party wave, getting on a party wave, right? Big shout out to my father-in-law, actually. I go bodyboarding with him over in Perth.
Nice.
And he drops in on some monsters, man.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like, over 6 foot.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah, serious. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like 3. Okay, here we go.
We get onto some big waves. Once you start doing it though, there's no going back. You have to get those waves.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, when I was growing up, I don't know, because I'm like the city, I would go to Maroubra or Cronulla because my school was down south. I don't know, you're like, there's not a lot of Asian people out in the water. Oh yeah, thank you. and just growing up, I guess, in the 90s, I would always give the wave. I would always give the wave a wave. So it'll be like my wave. I'll be like in the most peak,
Yeah, you'll be in the queue and you've been waiting, and then you're ready to go.
And then there might be someone else on it, and I always would get off it. And my best mate, who was like true blue Aussie,
dinky die.
Yeah, like hardcore Aussie, and he would always get angry at me. He's like, "That's your wave. Like, stop getting off the wave." And so like I kind of, when I look back on it, I was like, I felt like I couldn't own the waves because it wasn't, I don't know, it's this weird complex of when I was growing up that I couldn't have.
That's strange, because I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
I'm like,
this is my wave.
This is my fucking wave, man. Stay off it. Don't fucking drop in on me.
Yeah, but I guess because it's Maroubra, it's like kind of a rough like surf area. You got the Maroubra boys, and then you got Cronulla. It's like, I don't know, it wasn't that welcoming for people like me back then. But skateboarding was different, I guess. Like, it didn't matter. So that's why.
Interesting. That's an interesting fact. Yeah, I never thought about that way.
Yeah, like, the 90s. 90s was for I guess people of color. It was very different back then.
Yeah, it's coming out of like, that's the baby boomer peak,
Yeah.
That's the peak. Yeah, that's when their kids are teenagers.
Yeah.
So it's a monkey see, monkey do situation.
Yeah.
We all say we don't want to be our parents, but
yeah.
But the reality is we've come from them. So
yeah, but again, I guess it's also I came from the suburbs, like because I'm also from Central Coast. My father's from Central Coast, so like very familiar with the coast and the suburbia. So I'm from the western suburbs of Central Coast, and so I'm like kind of used to like the territorial nature of suburbia. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. Actually, I grew up in Western Sydney, and you knew what neighbourhood you were in just by looking at the graffiti.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was all ethnically based.
Yeah.
It was a strange time. Like the high school I went to, ironically, I was the outcast.
Because
I was white.
Yeah, I hear you.
I was the outcast, but it didn't mean I wasn't friends with everyone. Like, I'm not saying it was uncool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it was different. Like the neighbourhood that I grew up, like my sisters grew up in, was the same neighbourhood, but it was an Irish neighbourhood then. And then as I come to age, a lot of multiculturalism had kicked in, and that's Australia changing its immigration policy had changed, right? So the surface of Australia and then the depths of Australia was starting to change.
Yeah.
And I was a part of that change.
Yeah.
But when you look back at it, when I look at my mind then, you just accept that.
Yeah.
It's only until you get older that you understand racism.
Exactly. Well, yeah, until you realise it, and I guess everyone else sees it as well. But I don't know. I try not to like think badly of it, because it's a strange time now at the moment. The world is. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah. And then then you add the COVID on top of it. It's just we need.
Yeah, we've got so many problems.
Yeah.
Environmental problems, economic problems.
Yeah.
Health problems.
Yeah.
Intellectual property problems.
Yeah.
Border problems.
Yeah.
Fuck. Where does it end?
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend today, and I'm like, man, this is turning in some 1984 shit. Yeah. Facial recognition, I'm seeing a lot more of that out there.
Yeah.
The way the internet is working, you can be kicked off Facebook for saying so many words.
Yeah.
And same with YouTube, you can be kicked off that. And these aren't democratic spaces; they're corporate spaces.
Yeah.
And you can see that there's a tug and fro between corporate and government at the moment.
Definitely.
Scary times.
Yeah. So I guess I guess growing up again with all this stuff, it's like we just need more kindness. We need more
love, man.
Passion. Yeah.
More love, man. I'm a big supporter of love, man. Massively.
Totally.
I just think people say that money makes the world go round. I go, that's just not true. There's how did all these people come about? Where did all the people come from?
Yeah, exactly.
It's love that makes the world go round. You know, it is connection.
100%.
You know, I mean, I think we should admit that. There's nothing wrong with admitting that.
Totally, yeah.
You know, and it's like we're scared to do that, or we're reluctant to do it. We need to have this materialistic view on the world.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with our politicians. It's the problem with corporations. It's about materialistic ownership. You know, and I don't know that the solution is. I'm not.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the solution is as well, but I just think, more love, like you said. Just let's get through this.
Yeah. Go to the beach. Watch the sunset. Listen to the ocean. Go skating.
Yes, go skating.
Yeah. My mate started skating up. Started inline skating again.
Yeah.
And they always spun me out, man. The inline skaters always spun me out.
Why?
Because if you're on a board, you can bail.
Yeah.
You can't bail on inline skates.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're on you. Well, there's no bailing. It's just like it either succeeds or it doesn't.
Or fails.
At least on a board, you can kind of, even if you fail, you can still half succeed and roll out of it.
Yeah.
I can't see any escape for inline skaters. They always spun me out the most. Guys are fucking crazy.
I don't even have a comment on it. I'm trying to yeah, you're right. Maybe there's some like certainty about it that's kind of comforting, I guess, because like at least skateboarding, there's some more probabilities, but inline is like yes or no. So
yeah,
you either got it or you don't.
But the drop in though, you know, just to do the drop in.
Yeah.
So I was about to get you to turn more because I realised you're profile.
I always go look. Yeah.
You've been going profile on me. That's all right.
Yeah.
The Spotify audience is bigger anyway. They don't see it.
That's my good side anyway.
Yeah. I'm glad you took the social cue though. I'd normally have to say, man, can you just turn around a little bit?
It's all good. Yeah, it's all
You're like, oh, I see what you want, Ross. I see what you want. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. But yeah, I just, but the graduation of skating for me, watching the double kick come out, that was like revolutionary.
Right.
I remember that was like before that, the closest revolution in skateboarding was the wingboard. Remember the wingboard?
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Interesting. I'm thinking my revolution is when I saw Brian Anderson come out as a gay skateboarder. That was like mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know my journey though, because I only came out I kind of came out after Melon Grab, and it my film isn't queer. I didn't make a queer film, but people can read it as queer because I mean my film is about my best friend, and people always thought we were like a gay couple. He loves it because he finds it really funny, and it's really about kind of that close male bond that's platonic. But when I show it to my queer friends and stuff, they're like, oh, this is really gay. And I'm like, oh well, it's not meant to be, but I understand.
Well, I can see that, but at this other token, I can see the other side of the platonic nature of that film.
Totally, and that was my intention. But even just hearing my queer friends saying that, it's it was so important to kind of see yourself on screen. And so when Brian Anderson came out, and he has with his husband, it was wow, such a revolution. That's a real punk right there. And to come out and and it's changed the whole skate scene. Kids now are so not homophobic. Back when I was in the 90s for me, guys were getting bashed, poofter bashing, and
that was a thing.
That
was a thing.
Yeah, it was I remember going to school and people were like, "Oh yeah, we went poofter bashing on the weekend." I'm like, "Oh yeah,
that's a social occasion." Yeah. That sounds marvelous.
Yeah, and so when you were talking about revolutions, I was like, "Yeah, fuck, pro gay skateboarder that came out with his husband was amazing for me."
Yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's good to have those moments in your life where you can look to and idolize things around you. You know, things that are close to your heart and close to your soul.
Yeah.
I think those things are important. I think that's why that's why filmmaking is good in general as well.
Yeah, definitely.
To be that storyteller to reach people, because it's all about perception. Like you're saying that your gay friends would be saying, this is a gay film.
Yeah, they can see themselves in this.
But straight people look at it and go, "Oh, that's a nice platonic relationship."
Yeah, it's it's just a language that people relate to.
Because that's how you connect with it, right?
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, man. We're coming up with some deep dive things here.
Yeah, you know me. This is me. You're with me.
Yeah, indeed, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I was also even worried with my like the two skaters that I was with, because we talked about having girlfriends, and I had plenty of girlfriends when I was young, and so we would connect about that, and then I was like, oh, I kind of need to tell them, and my producer just told them, and it's like, oh yeah, he got married, and they're like, oh yeah, cool, like it wasn't even an issue, but I did have my 90s skating internal, like, oh, they're gonna like reject me, but like it was totally fine. And Fusey just did like a trans character skate film. I haven't seen it yet, but like, yeah, just like the next generation, it's just so hopeful, like, and it's so good to see these stories come out, and like all these skaters change, and yeah.
Man, I think, look, just talking about, beating up on people because of whatever reason, right? I had an amusing experience with a right-wing friend once.
Yeah.
we're walking through Sydney, and he sees a couple of transvestites, right?
Yeah.
Walking along, and he yells out some derogatory terms. I'm like, hey, dude, don't be doing that. It's like,
out in the West?
No, out in Sydney.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't from Sydney. He was from out of town.
Yeah, gotcha.
A bit more rural.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's trans out here, out openly? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, we were in the city.
Yeah.
And he starts, like, barking, like, out of place. I'm like, dude, not when you're out. Like, no. First of all, no. But second of all, that's a bad move.
Yeah.
These guys have been picked on their entire life, right? They can handle themselves.
Yeah.
So don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
They'll fucking beat your ass. And you're bagging them out from wearing a dress. Imagine how you're going to feel after being beaten up by a man in a dress.
Oh no.
He's like, oh no, serious. And then they turn around. Oh, you got a problem?
Oh,
you got a problem? He's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Are you with him? No, I don't know this guy. He's on his own. Yeah, and he's like, oh man, that's serious. I'm like, yeah, man, you gotta be careful what you say, man.
Definitely. Well, it's just, yeah. I mean, times are changing, and you're always gonna have those frictions, and like a lot of my friends aren't fully on board, but I don't give up on them as well. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But you're going to run into that, man, regardless of the subject matter.
Totally.
No everyone's always going to agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you do. I'm in a heavy metal band, and my family doesn't agree with that.
Yeah, right. Really?
Yeah. I'm so adverse to it that all my life. This is something I've been doing for 25 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're still not cool with it.
Yeah, I've got big shout out to my sister, actually. She come to one of my gigs.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I understand it's not their forte.
Yeah.
Well, it's not their cup of tea.
Yeah.
But at least don't ask me questions. Oh, why are you doing that for?
Yeah.
Why? Or why are you wasting your time doing that? I'm like, in their defence though, I finally reached them. Mm-hmm. I finally reached them with this notion, and I said, I could go to therapy.
Yeah.
And talk about my problems.
Yeah.
Or I could create creative works and scream into a microphone in front of a crowd that's willing to listen to me.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's the same thing.
Totally. Yeah. Oh my God. Like I can connect to that so much, and
it is so cathartic, man. Like, don't get me wrong, you're playing the role. Don't get me wrong, you're playing that role, but there's a piece of you in that role.
Of course, but you're playing music. You're creating music, and it's expression, and it's art. And I'm glad that they understood that.
Yeah, that's what finally got them there. It was where I said, it's therapeutic to me.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to exist without it.
Yeah.
Like, it may be possible to exist without it, but I don't know.
Well, it helps you navigate the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps me bring context.
Yeah. I love that. I didn't know that about you. I really like that. That's your outlet.
Yeah, man. I run a little rehearsal studio down the road.
Yeah.
We call it the Dank.
Dank.
Yeah, man. It's like a Ninja Turtles hangout. It's a total hang. So that because you can go to a rehearsal studio, right?
Yeah.
And you can, you pay an hourly rate. Got to wait for the drummer to set up. Mm-hmm. There's an hour.
Yeah.
So you got to pay for a drummer to set up.
Yeah.
And we just figured out that if we hire a Kennard's self-storage unit, we soundproof it.
Yeah.
We're paying for the storage of all of our music gear because we've got a lot of it. There's like 20 guitars in that studio. Mm-hmm. About 6 different amps. So there's everything that a musician wants.
Yeah, cool.
Is in that room, right?
Yeah.
And we got a space that we can rehearse at any time. It's an industrial space.
Nice.
We can rehearse at 3 a.m. if we want.
Nice.
You know, there's no stopping us. And even when I don't, sometimes without the band, I go down there and just sing into the mic and do covers. I take some of my other friends down there and do covers.
Do you ever do parties out there?
Yeah, we do our own parties.
Yeah.
Man, but when we jam, man, we do it for like 6-7 hours.
Oh, okay, proper jam. You're like, you're there for work.
We're a part-time professional band, essentially.
Okay, gotcha.
We don't get paid a lot, but when we play, we get paid. So, we did a EP launch last year. We're looking at... we're writing our album at the moment.
Yeah.
About 8 songs into it, so we're gonna need to write another 4 songs and rearrange everything else.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Nice. Well, I love it. Like, my parents don't fully support my filmmaking career, even though that's my career. I totally get it, and just to see that you do this is really nice.
Yeah, man. But you're lighting some fires, man. Because you work. Yeah, but you work as a don't you work as like a writer as full time now?
Well, now I am because of COVID, and I don't know. It's really strange. Like,
that's super cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm very thankful and I feel like I'm very privileged because I know a lot of directors don't have work at the moment, but I don't know, maybe it's like survival mode. Like, gotta get work.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing, man. But that's what a lot of people say that make it. They go, I was just in survival mode. And it was either win or die,
Yeah.
And you go, no, I'm not going to do that.
Totally. And I mean, the thing is, like, I do love writing, and I guess just needed that encouragement or that thing to kick you in the ass. And it's been a few people who have really encouraged me. And it's been I feel like I've learned a lot about myself in this process, because you're inside yourself in your head all day for the last 4 months, and you like have to process all your issues. Like, I don't have the metal band to like yell out, and I'm like have to like put it on the page. And then I read what I'm reading, and I'm like, there's something that I need to deal with in my life, or I need to fix my, I don't know, like my communication with my dad or something. Like, it's just like all these things that come that you've suppressed or buried in your back of your mind.
It brings it to the surface.
Yeah.
But I think that's healthy though, right?
Yeah, it has been healthy.
You've got to face your demons.
100%, and it's made me. I feel stronger now, and like internal therapy, like you were saying, like, and like navigating your world and just learning from it.
And I just find bringing context to it. I get to answer questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's always questions that burn in you.
Yeah.
And I think everyone shares that. That's something we all have in common.
Exactly.
There's always questions that burn, like the what ifs, the supposed to be's. I think I've stolen it from The Simpsons when someone's like playing a bit of victimhood, because we all do it. Like, the whole fucking world's against me, man. And someone's going, oh, come on, settle down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I totally lost my train of thought there.
That's all good.
But yeah, sometimes. Oh yeah, that's right. The Sposders.
The Sposders?
So I stole it from The Simpsons. Yeah, when someone goes, it's not supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be this way.
The Sposders.
Sounds like someone's got a case of the Sposders. Pretty sure it's Simpsons. Someone check it out for me.
Yeah, supposed to. I mean, you cannot have that attitude in film or art because there's no right. The world doesn't treat you that way.
Yeah. There's no supposed to anything.
Yeah.
It just is, man. Deal with it.
Yeah.
All of your decisions. I think the Sunscreen song said it well, man. All your decisions are half chance.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
The other half is an educated guess. There's a guess going on in there, but the other half is chance. It might not roll your way. And be okay with that.
Yeah.
Be okay with it. It's not always going to roll your way. People talk about the overnight success, and I think it bugs me, man.
Oh yeah, no.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
It does not exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only because you heard about him today.
Totally.
Feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that Parasite winning, like the Oscars, I think that has helped me in some ways.
Yeah?
yeah.
That's fantastic. Why has it helped you?
Because they know me as a Korean filmmaker, and they're like, "Oh, Koreans can make films, so let's look at Korean cinema." And then they like delve into it. They're like, "Wow, this is amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, like, of course it is.
Of course it is. That's how we do it, baby.
Yeah, like, and they're like, "Oh, have you got any stuff to show us?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic, man.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of that sprinkled in there as well, but that's just the world of entertainment. Like,
Well, there's definitely a paradigm shift going on. I was talking to Matthias Bowler. Big shout out to yesterday because he's filmed Campesinos.
Yeah.
One Made in the West last year, and that was a subtitled film.
Yeah,
and you know, and I thought, you know, and then what was the name of it? Parasite?
Yeah,
Parasite wins, which is a subtitled film.
Yeah.
And you go, man, that is definitely an indicator. And I don't know. I just see. I know we've got our little tiny festival.
No, it's a micro world in a bigger system, but it is definitely a legitimate space. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think it was just what an interesting fact to have our grassroots festival. You know, indicate towards where the same thing was going to happen in a really big prestigious award ceremony as well.
Yeah.
I just thought, wow, well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That we could be that on the pulse.
Definitely. I mean, your festival is so diverse. Like, you're already on the pulse. You are the pulse. and you know.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and like it's the Western suburbs and. There's something like Matt, like his film. I just feel like people are just getting smarter, and like the world is so globalized that it makes so much sense to be like, let's watch this film and with subtitles, and it just makes sense as well. So,
well, I think I've got a bit of a theory though about subtitled films. I think that because people read text more, and people read like YouTube feeds or Facebook video feeds, and they've done it during work time, so they can't put the sound on. So they have to read a film that's in English, but they have to read the English subtitles because they're watching it silently.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Because we've created more text around us. Yeah. And text has become more accepting.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, you're so right. Because I will watch like films with subtitles even in English just so I don't miss anything.
Yeah, I do that. Misty hates it when I do that.
Yeah. I mean, I only do it when it's really complex, but I generally don't watch it with subtitles. But it is a culture just to watch it with subtitles. And I guess people are getting used to it.
Yeah, well, I think the first sort of experience I had with a subtitled film that I like, I really like this film because, it's not, you generally want to watch it, especially for, we're talking about the 90s before that zeitgeist of it has to be in English, otherwise it's not going to succeed.
Yes.
And that was just ironclad. That was just the situation. I watched a movie called Run Lola Run, a German film.
So good.
Great film.
So good. So 90s as well, yeah.
Well, I had it on DVD, right? And I was watching it and I couldn't figure out how to change it to English. So I watched it in German.
Yeah, it's so much better in German.
It's way better because then I've gone back to watch it and I'm going, oh, it's this button. And then I watched it in English. I'm like, it totally changed the experience. I was like, it's jarred and yuck.
Yeah, there's something about the German language that just fits the editing of that film. It's so like sharp and dot, and it changes and it goes back and it's just perfect with the language. I couldn't imagine that film in English.
Yeah, well, you miss all the nuances.
Yeah.
When they do when they convert the film.
Yeah, definitely.
When they dub the film, you lose those nuances that were originally part of the director's vision.
Definitely.
You lose all of it.
Yeah.
And people would think, well, it's just the dialogue, right? But I think those environmental spaces, even though you've separated that audio, those environmental spaces are coupled together. And when you uncouple them, they're jagged and angular.
Totally.
And it's not a smooth sort of experience. So, that was my first experience into such things. But, a few more years pass, and now it doesn't matter. I can understand way more Spanish than I ever have in my life. I've got my handle on a few sampling languages way more than I'd ever would.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm almost bilingual.
Yeah,
Almost. Yeah, I can order a beer in a Slavic language.
Yeah, yeah.
I can order a beer and talk about the weather.
In Slavic?
Yeah, like
In one of
and it's I've just drawn a blank. Not Czech, but Slovakian.
Slovakian. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I can I can speak a little bit of Slovakian.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I can ask for a beer, ask you how you are.
Yeah, I mean that's like the most important stuff.
Yeah. I can't talk politics.
Yeah.
Can't talk politics, but
Yeah.
maybe one day.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
one day
yeah,
I'll get
yeah.
there. But I think people in Europe, it's just parcel to be bilingual, trilingual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And immigrants as well. But I think also when people don't speak the language and they hear it, it creates a familiarity. Like I don't speak Spanish, but when I hear it and you know the characters and you know the culture, it's like there's a bond that you create through watching foreign cinema. And when I was young, like you would watch films from America and New York and you hear a New York accent, and then you go to New York and you're like, this is very familiar. Like I've been here before. And so you already have an immediate connection with them. You already have this strange kind of bond, and that's why I like foreign cinema, or like even English language cinemas that you're not part of. It just creates this extra bond that you wouldn't think you would have.
Well, I think accents are weird though.
Yeah.
When they do accents, it's weird, right? Because there's always a mixture.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of accents. I think a good example for me is a film called Enemy at the Gate.
Yeah.
A war film.
Yeah.
But they use British accents, and they just accept everyone's got a British accent. That's it. No one's trying to be German. No one's trying to be Russian.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
They just accept the language. Just accept it that way.
Yeah.
But then you watch something like, I think we were talking about on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, something like Valkyrie. With Tom Cruise, you've got an American accent. You've got some people doing the German accent, some people aren't. I just find that confusing.
I've got another example. The Sparrow. It's like a Russian spy film. It was made by English people, and they're like enemies in the whole Cold War, but everyone's speaking with an English accent as Russian spies. I was like, this is just all wrong. It's like doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
English actors speaking with an English accent as Russian spies is not right.
Yeah. No, I think we'll see those things fade away, maybe even in 50 years' time, we'll look at it as cultural appropriation or something crazy,
Yeah, that's a whole,
That's a whole can of worms. Let's not open that can of worms.
Yeah, no.
It's too scary. I'm too scared.
No, it's all good.
I just think that just throws me off when they do the accents.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Hans Gruber, being a British guy, being a German, is a bit menacing.
Yeah. No, I think it's just about how you deliver the accents. It just has to be done well. Like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it really well.
Otherwise, it's just shit. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I think, things like a TV series like Narcos, right?
Yeah.
They'll just transition between English and Spanish and is it Portuguese? Sorry,
Yeah.
Portuguese. Spanish.
Spanish.
And Colombian.
Yeah.
They'll just transition between those languages without no sort of run, smoother, just cliff edges.
That's because they can speak both like fluid, like
Yeah.
They
just transition between them without effortlessly.
Yeah, which is the reality in South America.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. I think that's what gives it that allows you to suspend that disbelief.
Exactly.
If you're really into that story, you're going to read the subtitles. Hopefully one day, by reading enough subtitles, I never need to read subtitles ever again.
That'll be a good day. Yeah.
Or maybe we can get the Neuralink that's coming out in the next 10 years, and you just download French and bang, there you go. You speak French now.
Love it.
That'd be great. I think I've always had a fantasy, and it comes from the Matrix actually. I want to be able to curse in French.
Oh yeah, it's so good to curse in French. Yeah.
It's like wiping your ass with silk. Yes, indeed, man. But look, I think we've really reached the end of our podcast today.
Yeah, that's cool.
Man, for people to check out your work, where can they go?
Oh, they can just go to my website, which is undi.co. But I mean, like, everything's in development at the moment. We're not shooting. I have a really exciting web series about the Korean diaspora that I'm slaving away at. Like, it's taking all my energy. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, they can just find me on my website, on my Instagram. They'll see things that I'm doing.
Oh, great, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I wish I had another hour, actually.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I felt like I learned a lot about you, actually.
Well, that's why I like doing the show, man. I get very inquisitive about someone. Like, I've learned about you.
Yeah.
And I've learned things that I didn't know before. And
cool.
there's always another. Sometimes there's a big piece, sometimes there's a small piece, but there's always a piece to the puzzle that I'm trying to solve in my life.
Yeah.
And that's trying to get, glean knowledge so that I can pass knowledge.
Definitely. And you know, I love what you do. I really appreciate you. And like, you know, anything that you need to do, you know, like in the Lord of the Rings, you have my axe. You know, like you have.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You have me, like.
Yeah. Right back at you, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you too.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of having an axe, if you want my axe to do your Foley art or to do your sound design, let me know. If you need me to do some promotions, I'll do that for you. And man, if you guys want to collaborate on something, drop me a DM. Happy to collaborate. Anything you need.
Love it.
It's always negotiable. But yeah, you've been watching the Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Sonic Boom, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Dude, that was so fun. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad I got you out of the house, man. I'm really glad I got you out of the house.
Yeah.